Welcome to episode 112 of Master's Degree in Rolling Terribly. I'm your host, Daddy. Joining me this week, a man whose spidey senses are finally tingling, as he's finally achieved his real retirement goal, to be able to make baby spiders. So everyone clap, especially this man, because he can now raise his hands, all 8 of them. I don't even know if spiders have hands. A big welcome to the latest superhero, Spider-Gaz. Say hi, Gaz.
Finally made it as a superhero.
You finally made it.
I finally did. Yes. We're very excited. So for those that haven't watched the playthrough, skip to the end and you can see me unlock my level of the bug where I finally found my spider powers.
It's literally the only reason you have stayed on it. I mean, you could have retired, right?
Correct. I could have retired like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And now we're going to force Gaz to retire so he can't use them.
That's right. But yes, so very, very excited. I have seen mentions that they are underwhelming, but I am currently whelmed. So I will wait to see how that goes. And if anything, our party needed more random shit moving around the scenario and taking up hexes, right?
That's right. We will let you surf the web in the diaries, and we're going to have a bit of a chat about those. I'm very excited to hear more of your thoughts now that you've had a few days to obviously obsess over them. On our agenda, on our today's episode, right after our dirt sheet, we're going to be recapping Scenario 26, Thermal Stone Peak. We'll be doing our amDirt Diaries, and, Gaz, and we're doing the return of the Kelega Haven quiz, which is really awesome. Kelega's come back into the fold after recently, I think, going away from the Haven series for a bit. And it's come back with a vengeance and brought another quiz. And if you remember, I don't remember how long ago it was when we started doing quizzes every week. And then Kelega came in and said, "Hold my beer. This is how you do a quiz." Yep. And it was so much fun. We were so wrong.
We were. So I know that he shared it with some people in our Discord to like sense check and, just get a feeling for it and stuff like that. And he did not share it with me. Although there was someone that was impersonating me who wanted it. So have you read through it?
No.
Or have you just got it? Okay,
I've got it, and he just gave me the instructions on how to run it, because it kind of, I don't know, I'm not a dev or a thing, so I don't really understand. I had to be given instructions as to how to run it. But apparently it's kind of.
It's like the Haven games or any legacy game, right? Like you open the book and it says, "Stop, do not read anymore until you have done X," and then you got to do that.
Yeah, they're way better than my Word document ones. All right, on the dirt sheet, Gloomhaven 2.0 is, like, from a shipping point of view all over the world. I've been tracking it. I don't understand it. But I have found out that it's arriving in Brisbane, which is a place in Australia, very north, in 4 days' time or something like that, which means it's actually coming really quickly. I think predicted next month. So we should have it next month.
That's crazy. We should not play it for ages.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So what I wanted to talk about in the dirt sheet was, well, it's inevitable that we're probably going to do some unboxings. And this will seem a little bit redundant, I guess, for a lot of people because the characters are, really well known. But as if you're a follower of the podcast and what we do, you would be familiar with the fact that I don't remember anything from Gloomhaven 1.0. My memory is basically non-existent. I have a couple of loose just memories of, this guy hits really hard and then this person goes invis and just things like that. So this is going to be nice and raw for me and hopefully you in some regards as well.
Yeah, I think for myself, I have a general idea about how all the characters play, although I know for 2.0 that some of them that playstyle has shifted. So it's probably just I don't know, lent more into having its own kind of like little gimmick type thing, which is going to be interesting. So I don't know how they all function. But yeah, it's more of a reaction to, okay, here are the cards and this is how this character is going to work and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, even though I know the base idea of most of the character classes and probably still remember most of them, yeah, it will be still fun to look through as we unlock them and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I have a rough idea of how the, I guess, archetype of each character is, at least from the starters. There are actually some, as we've recently worked out, there are some characters that I've never seen in 1.0. But what I wanted to talk about very quickly was, and this is more to our audience as well, you're very familiar now with our unboxing kind of process in that we reveal the character board together. We do this online, and then we go through all the cards and we discuss, the abilities, the character abilities, and then each card as we open them, and start to piece together the play style of it. We've never really had a lot of feedback regarding the format, and we've kind of just evolved that format and pulled it out of our butt as we started, all the way back with the banner spear from Frosthaven. So I was curious whether or not, and the latest iterations of our unboxings are with the Crimson Scales ones, and that's where we're probably going to continue doing it like that. That's where it's evolved to a level that we're very comfortable with. But this is an opportunity for people to jump in and just say, hey, I think this might be a good addition or a good way of doing it, or maybe you could do it a little bit like this. And just to get an idea of whether or not there's something we could be doing better with the unboxings.
Yeah, okay.
The thing I did consider was doing a side-by-side comparison from 1.0 to 2.0, but the only issue with that is our unboxings take 40, 45 minutes, maybe even 50. That will easily make them take 2 hours. So but I'm open to any suggestions. Otherwise, we will continue with the format that we're currently going with.
Yeah, it is it's an interesting one with a lot of the 2.0 content because I'm not sure who the audience is. Not so much for our content, but more the game, right? I wonder what percentage of people who are playing it will have played the original versus who are like, I never played the original because I couldn't get it or whatnot. I may have played it online, maybe, but I've backed this one and I'm gonna get a group together and play it with a bunch of people who haven't, right?
Yeah.
So because if even if it's, I don't know, 70-30, right? That means there are a bunch of people out there that this will be new for.
Yeah.
Whereas that if it's 90-10, then most of the people will be looking at, well, what has changed? And similar in the Frosthaven rulebook, there's like a sheet or a page or something that says like, hey, if you've played Gloomhaven, these are the differences. I almost wonder how much of like 2.0 there will be like that type of thing. And I assume there'll be a rulebook like equivalent in there, but for the classes, if you've played the Scoundrel, right, this is the things you've got to understand have changed. Not so much this attack was a 5 and now it's a 4, but more, hey, a bunch of your cards have this kind of ability on it, or this is how it functions. This is what's changed. I wonder. Yeah, I'd be interested to see them side by side as well, just to see like how much or how little has changed. But I don't know an interesting way of recording that content.
That could be a fun individual thing of just, one to the other, from this to this, 1.0. I'm just looking at the thumbnail right now from 1.0 to 2.0 and then explaining the differences. I think that'll actually be kind of cool.
And in the thumbnail, one of them's like an old pixelated, like 8-bit character version of that character, and the other one's like a new AI version. So, yeah, cool. There's something like that might be interesting if people, again, are interested in that kind of stuff, which, again, would be different to an unboxing, right? Because we're going to be more talking about some of the key changes. So, yeah, lots of exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah. Unboxings just, at the end of the day, it's just a raw reaction in a way. And it's just part of the discovery. As you would know, we are very, what's the word I'm looking for? We restrain ourselves on nearly everything spoiler related. Even through our Crimson Scales campaign and all the way through our Frosthaven campaign, we're opening it for the first time when we are opening it for the first time. So it's just an exciting thing that we decided to capture. And, hopefully we can continue that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is going to be weird because like so much of this content already exists out there in the wild. Like it is, you're right. When for those that maybe weren't around or weren't paying attention back then, we did do the unboxing for the Banner Spear, and it was kind of like, I mean, it was people enjoyed it, but there were a few people like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like this is just this isn't spoiler content. We're
No.
like, I know, but we haven't looked at it.
Like
So
clearly,
for us, it's
you thought the
new.
squire healed. Like it's a
Yeah,
healing squire.
exactly. I was like, how does summons work? How did use this? So, it's a yeah, it is a unique experience for us, and it's just kind of cool being able to share that. So yeah, if people have ideas of about how they find it would be more entertaining for them, more informative, or whatever, yeah, let us know. We'll give it a go.
Totally. All right, so let's recap scenario 26. This week we were joined again by Mark and Phil, so they kind of came back after having their little tiff, and we had the usual awesome foursome, and we delved back into the world of chill, which is that fun condition that we had last week. So let's go straight to we'll do our city event 43. We're enjoying our 75th casual stroll through Gloomhaven when we spot several signs plastered all over the wall near a building. Criminals wanted, apply now, it reads. Well, that's how we read it. A bunch of mugshots stare back at us and we contemplate the easy work for coin. Apparently, we're connected to the underworld thanks to Phil, so we shouldn't find this too difficult. The two biggest rewards were for a Vermling Drake Smuggler and a still elusive Void Hunger Savas. How did we work this out, Gaz?
Well, I think after suggesting that we had already done this one and that being refuted, we went after the Void guy because we're like, oh, maybe this is the kind of extra event that goes in there once the Void guy has retired. And then after reading the back of the card and seeing that chasing the Void guy had been ticked by you, then we just did the other one.
Look.
Because we'd already caught him.
That's true. My memory's not the best.
That's right. Look, I wasn't 100% certain it was the same event. It was just really weird because I couldn't remember the first one. I remembered the Void thing because you were playing the washing machine at the time, right?
Yeah.
So the Vortex. And so that's why I was like, I feel like we've done this before. We're like, hey, we're looking for this corrupt Savas Void guy. And we're like, isn't that you? And then we just went and turned you in and got a reward.
Yeah.
So now we were, yeah, anyway, so we ended up catching or doing whatever we did for the Drake Smuggler.
Yeah, we had time. We did the other one. And what's cool is we unlocked another scenario that hopefully we will have time to do with the Smuggler's Hideout scenario 40. And then if both are checked, we don't have to do that event anymore because it's gone. We've caught both guys and Gloomhaven saved. We had our road event, which is road event 27. We pass a caravan and we hear muffled screaming. We look inside, obviously, and we spot a lone orchid tied to a chair. Gaz grabs his boombox and starts singing. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, here I am, stuck in the middle with you. And we had to decide whether or not we untie and free or wait for the captors to come back.
We untied them.
Yeah, we did. And then she robbed us.
Robbed us, yep.
Which makes no sense at all because there's four of us. But apparently, what was it? It was an explosion.
Mm-hmm.
I like how in the world of magic in every game ever, when your hands are tied behind your back, you can't use magic. Is that a thing?
Well, I mean, like in D&D, there's somatic components to spells, which are your hands. So you have verbal components, which you have to say, and a lot of spells have hand gesture components. So if you tie someone's hands, they can't do the correct gestures, right?
I feel like it's really restrictive. Like, what if you lose your hands?
Then you can't be a spellcaster. That's bad.
Why would they not develop or evolve magic to go to other limbs, like your knees?
Because they've never needed to.
Knee magic is a new school that I think we should explore.
But then they'll just take your knees instead.
No.
Yeah, that's it. So not all spells have that. Like some are just verbal. But yeah, so I feel like maybe this is, you had your hands tied behind your back and you couldn't do the pow explosion. Or maybe this is the only
knees together and then
yeah. Maybe this is the only spell that this person knew, and so it wasn't going to be very helpful to get out of their ropes. But it definitely is to like pickpocket a bunch of people.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Well, yeah, they somehow pickpocketed us. Phil took the hit because he's Mr. Moneybags. And we had to actually add another road event in. So look forward to seeing what happens
They're going to
there.
come back. Yeah. I
She's going
wonder
to
if,
rob us
like,
again.
I'm seeing this image now of like us all standing around the chair as this was it an orchid or an yeah it goes pow and does this spell, and then like Sonic rings just fly out of us, right? Or like Mario Kart where the coins fly out and they just grab them and run, and we're like, and we're spinning around in circles.
Blue
So
one.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, they did a top attack and a bottom loop one with a move, and then
It's
they were
legit.
gone.
Maybe it's a
Yeah,
maybe it's a new class that
maybe.
we'll get later. Who knows? All right, scenario 26. Let's recap Thermal Stone Peak. So we double checked the nutty Aether Lab notes and dragged ourselves up this peak, and it's really hot and cold, because there are hot springs and there's lava and snow and the works. It's very, very steamy. The notes mumbled
Okay,
something
Katy Perry.
about what was that? Sorry.
I said, okay, Katy Perry.
The notes mumbled something about thermal stones being used to mess with these weird creatures. Our brilliant plan? Punchy punchy, and maybe put a pin in whatever the Acer is cooking up. Then, poof, the mist clears, and we spot two glowy ice blue stones, and a welcoming committee of those strange creatures. The notes helpfully added that wrecking these stones won't be a walk in the park. The note lied. With that, we pretend to be scared and charge right in. So this scenario's goal was that we had to destroy 5 thermal stones. And at the end of that round, we read a thing. The map was made up of 3 largish, relatively largish tiles separated by doors, forming what we would call a 3-room gauntlet. And there were 2 thermal stones in the first room, there were 2 in the middle room, and 1 final larger one in the last room. The Monster Brigade, or the Chill Brigade, I guess, this week were still the Frozen Cadavers, Hell Demons, and Harrower Ice Crawlers. And the special rules ultimately were that the stone pillars, 4 of them, the first 4 anyway, had 7 health, and the one in the last room had 24 health based on our player count. And they all had on-hit conditions, basically. When you hit them, they would give you a condition. The first 2 give you chill, the second 2 would damage you for 1, and the third one, the big one, would give you chill and a wound for each time you attack it. But if you destroy them, you kind of get a bonus, like removing all your chill or healing or winning the scenario, I guess. Like last week and these chill scenarios, you can forego a top or a bottom action to remove or chill, which is a thing that makes sense, I guess, to deal with this kind of chill thing. But that's only if you're going to cop a lot of chill, which, look, let's be honest, it doesn't. It doesn't really apply, right?
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's there because there were cases where people could just completely shut down, right? You know, there probably is a bad sequence of events where you could end up getting stacks of chill that make it then you can't move and you can't attack. So it's kind of like skip a go or skip an action to get rid of it, but then also that kind of makes it a bit too easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a weird thing. It's a weird balance.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, we'll I definitely want to discuss this a little bit after. Let's find out what actually happened in our particular session, shall we?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the amDirt crew. The first 2 rounds consisted of the boys preparing, with Phil playing his usual 3 persistent cards, Deddy setting up for a prayer, Gaz getting his muddle and retaliate on, and Mark bringing out Critzilla and mounting it into the enemy backline. Now, Critzilla is his lowland gorilla. It's a summon, for those that haven't been watching the playthrough. The Harrowers didn't like this maneuver and proceeded to throw ranged attacks into the Beetle, resulting in one of them getting hurt via Gaz's really, really cool ret. Meanwhile, the Wind Demons, or the Hail Demons, showcased their killing potential by attacking everyone over 2 rounds, but for some reason they were only interested in chilled targets, meaning they did sweet fuck all. Hopefully this isn't the trend. Gaz proceeds to give birth, which draws Phil's attention rather quickly as he abandons his original plans and heads over to sit next to Gaz, who's mid-contraction. Phil, in his excitement, grabs his crushing mace and clocks a normal Harrower on the head, nearly killing it, and in all the theatrics, conveniently forgets to take retaliate damage in the process. and also the chill effect for attacking a Harrower with Retaliate. More on this soon. Following the already terrifying first few rounds of barely anything by the monsters, the Wind Demons continue the do-nothing trend by activating a Range 3 Retaliate 3, which results in the Harrowers typing abuse in the chat about how their teammates are not helping, which in turn leads to the Wind Demons yelling back that if the Harrowers create wind, they would be attacking and disarming this round along with the Retaliate. The amDirt party just quietly look at each other and remember that we've all been in this situation in a team versus team game, where the other team is raging at each other and imploding at every play, which just makes it harder to enjoy the moments when you're kicking the enemy when they're down. Daddy Boangs, which is his version of a ward ally at range 3, and then has to remind Phil that he needs to save the 3 HP Harrower for him in order to gift Phil with a prayer, to which Phil agrees. Gaz even offers to help with some chip damage, bringing the foe even closer to Daddy's threshold, which Daddy declines, and it's almost as if no one trusts that Daddy can deal with a nearly dead monster on his own. The rare opportunity of a waning fire causes first in initiative order Gaz to blow burning stingers to chip away at 3 of the monsters, one being a useless Hail Demon, and gets a free colony from his amD to assist in a future Assimilate turn. By the way, this single -1 create a colony card seems to pop up very often, despite Gaz having a very girthy amD. This is the stage Phil, of all people, attempts to remind Gaz that when he attacked the Hail Demon, he should get retaliated on, only for Gaz and Mark to remind him they haven't activated yet. Nice try, Phil. Daddy channels Weakened Will, causing all enemies for the round to attack with disadvantage despite not being a support, followed by a Harsh Rebuke top attempt to kill a target and gift a prayer. Leafy non-supporting Daddy, needing to draw a +0, obviously pulls a -1, which no one can say they were completely surprised. But Forgetful Phil comes to the rescue by stating he forgot to damage the target when he moved next to it from his Spike Carapace, which nets Daddy the kill he wanted. And now, present Daddy is wondering if Phil only remembered because he was the prayer target. Either way, thank you, Phil. To be fair on Phil, this was the only time in the history of ever that he has forgotten about this ability. The Harrowers, who are disgusted with everything that's happened so far, have a chat about potentially restarting the scenario. But the eldest, grumpiest one, conveniently named Mark with a C, says fuck it, I don't even care, and then attempts to kill the adjacent gorilla, but due to Daddy's disadvantage draws a crit and a -1, causing a collective harrowing groan. During round 8, Daddy, who's been having a lovely time so far in this scenario, and is due to get cucked by Gaz, calls out he would like to slay the final Wind Demon who's just chilling on 1 HP, and plans to turn around cursing it twice, only to pull out one of Gaz's delicious crit bees, thus killing it, marking the return of Gaz cucking Daddy for another week. And the party start to destroy the Stone Pillar objectives, but it quickly descends into an all-you-can-eat bee eating contest between Phil and Mark as the hive eventually runs dry. Full of confidence, Gaz plows into the second room, revealing 2 new Stone Pillars, but also aggroes a group of Harrowers who immediately surround him and start beating him into triggering all his defensive items and Daddy's devotion. Phil requests Daddy deal with the final pillar in room 1, which is on 1 HP, to which Daddy agrees, and super brave Phil, who's still got his round 1 ward by the way, who also shouldn't, charges into the room after Gaz, followed by a gorilla and his subordinate Mark, who in turn heads into the backline to deal with the cadavers. This second room is fairly ho-hum, as Gaz assimilates, Phil perforates, Daddy concentrates, and the gorilla dominates, and soon a juvenile argument breaks out between Gaz and Mark about who gets to use Daddy's range 3 ward, making Daddy feel like a second-hand flashlight. A fight scene similar to an Adam West version of Batman breaks out, and by round 13 the last door is opened, revealing the final stone pillar and the remaining frozen cadavers and hail demons. The cadavers immediately head towards the door to block the party from entering, whilst the hail demons heal themselves, just in case, and place chill traps on the ground, marking the second round. They basically did nothing. Daddy attempts to get 3 more curses into the enemy deck by attacking a cadaver on 9 HP, and like clockwork pulls a crit on an attack 1, marking it the second time this scenario it has happened. In round 15, the cadavers continue to mess with Gaz by playing a lot of non-attack cards like Stun, Push, and Move Chill, and not really doing much else, and the Hail Demons, now into their 4th round of being on the board, play their 3rd attack card with no movement, which the party continues to ignore. At this point, Daddy questions their existence and design, but perhaps is just a trap. Either way, the monsters in this scenario have absolutely failed to coordinate any of their abilities, allowing the oh-so-brave adventurers to have their way with them. The party play 4D chess with Phil burning Searing Stone on 2 cadavers safely from a distance. Then Gaz, who was next to Phil, pops his translocation device, swapping his position with another elite cadaver, immediately ending Phil's feelings of safety. And then Deddy proceeds to swap another 2 cadavers, with Vital Bond placing an elite one next to himself, which then has him estimating his ability to live through an attack 5 disadvantage, but the lure of a shiny coin and his personal fulfillment clouds his judgment. Besides, he's dumped a shitload of curses into the monster AMD, he should be fine. The cadavers activate and hit Phil, Gaz, and Deddy, and the curses start to pour out, saving both Gaz and Phil from taking damage, while Deddy cops an attack 4 and goes straight to half health, and honestly no one is surprised by the outcome. Deddy, who's now sitting next to the elite cadaver and didn't really have a plan for the follow-up, realizes he has no fast initiative cards in hand, and begins to plead with the gorilla to come stand next to him. But the monsters have other plans, as the Hail Demons proceed to attack nothing once again, and the cadavers are just scratching them adjacent enemies with chill, to which none of the party had. Imagine if the Hail Demons had legs. It would be a completely different scenario. Gaz decides to head to the back of the room to start dealing with the legless Hail Demons and starts to build his colonies, only for them to finally play a move attack card. But noticing a huge, delicious bug in range, still don't move. Gaz proceeds to assimilate one of them, while Deddy, seeing Gaz get attacked, uses his opportunity to half the damage taken from his Oak's Embrace Ward Ally Range 3, which has not been triggered since he played it, which was 6 rounds prior, but realizes he's out of range, denying Deddy a way of generating an XP. Meanwhile, the cadavers have just completely decided to stop attacking and are now hell-bent on making chill a thing. Editing Deddy is now Dead Etty Teddy, making a cameo appearance to briefly discuss the lack of tension in this scenario to whoever is actually still watching, while podcast planning Deddy, otherwise known as Pod Eddie Teddy, is checking and saying Deddy Teddy out loud in the hopes current live recording Deddy says it properly when he and Gaz eventually record this episode. Mark summons his favourite pet, the Black Panther, and sets it on a hot pillar in the duel to the death, and Phil advises the party he's getting a bit low on cards. Mark uses this as an opportunity to flex his resurrection card at Phil, and says that, and I quote, "If I play very conservatively, I can stay up for a long time," to which Phil asks for the number of Mark's doctor. Gaz Mark manages a 4th assimilation for this scenario, and if you know the hoops required to get this off, that's a pretty decent achievement, as the party dispatch the remaining monsters, destroy the final 3 pillars, and celebrate the never in doubt, yet somewhat hollow victory.
Well done.
Do you remember any of that?
Yeah, most of it.
Did I miss anything?
Did you mention that a lot of the monsters didn't do much for most of the scenario?
I think I might have mentioned it once.
Yeah. Because that was mostly what happened.
Let's jump straight into our thoughts of the scenario.
All right. I thought that the idea of the scenario was really good and the objectives were quite good. The monsters, though, again, for the... I'll say second time because I feel like last week when we had the chill condition forced on us, they seemed to do more. But I feel like these monster types have too many do-nothing cards.
Mm-hmm. They definitely do.
That meant that a lot of the scenario, it was more just there were meat bags in the way that we had to punch.
Absolutely. And I've actually broken down a lot of their abilities. So we can dive a little deeper to work out, because one of the things that I wanted to work out was whether or not it was bad RNG or good RNG, depending on how you think about it. And whether or not they've got ways of consuming that. They all work around chill. They all work around, or I don't know if they all work around, but they all synergize between wind and ice in generation and consuming to power up their abilities. At scenario level 4, the Hail Demons have disarm, right? The elites anyway. And the cadavers have poison. You know, so this should be kind of scary and really difficult to deal with, like on paper.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like on paper, the innate abilities of those, they're quite scary. So you have wind, the Hail Demons that have 2 shield, and the elites have innate disarm, which is gross, right? The cadavers are giving like high HP, right? But they're also throwing poison out there. And the harrowers, what are they called? Ice crawlers. The innate retaliate is a bit yuck. Like retaliate 3 is quite high. So So, like, collectively, that on paper seems like it's like, okay, that's a decent foundation for what are going to be some tough monsters. So, why are they not?
Oh, let's break it down a little bit. So, yes, we have. Look, I'll start with the Harrow Ice Crawlers, right? So they've got 6 attacks out of their 8 cards, right?
Hmm.
And I don't think they actually had an issue. In the first room, they were the only ones doing anything. They were also in the second room. The thing is, we blew them up relatively quickly. So they've got. Let's look at this. They've got their 2 reset cards are the same. They're identical. Move, attack, create, ice. Nice and clean. So they should be getting that off, right? Shield, retaliate. On hit, you get chilled. That's the thing that happened at the start that technically may have affected Phil's follow-up turn because he should have been chilled for that following turn,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
right? Move, attack to adjacent targets with PS2. Move, ranged attack, and they've got enough cards there basically to. I think there's nothing wrong with them. It's just we prioritize them because they didn't have shield, unless when they
Yeah,
pump their
yeah.
shield ability.
And we know they're dangerous, right? So, but I mean, so they've got, I'm just looking at it now. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attack cards out of their 8, right?
Yep.
Okay.
2 defensives. They've got 2 ice generators that are both reset cards as well. 5 move cards, and they've got 1 chill generator, but it's through retaliation, which works because they are a kill target, but all of a sudden you don't want to kill them that round.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Is their retaliate is ranged or not?
I think it becomes ranged.
I'm just looking at their card now.
Their retaliate is not ranged. Their retaliate
No.
is innate is not, but then they've got that game retaliate rage 3 on attack,
Yeah, okay,
move and
cool.
range heal. So
Yeah,
they
okay,
actually
cool. So,
did a fair bit.
like, I guess just on them quickly. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think these seem fine. We just kill them really quickly
Yes.
because we hyper focus them. Yeah.
Yes. Phil hit one incredibly hard because I think 3 at the beginning. You assimilated one, which assimilates a Bane. You know, that's going to be doing it. I fairly feel that they had a fairly balanced game if I'm looking at it from a thing because I'm just seeing, I can see the cards drawn. In that first and second kind of room, they did their resets twice. They did a shield once. Their card spread is actually quite spread because I've marked down how many of their cards they've used. The only one they never actually played was the gain range, retaliate, move, and range heal. So they never actually played that. They played everything else at least once, right?
Yeah.
Hail Demons. Do you have anything else on the Ice Crawler? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
All right, the Hail Demons. So they've got a fairly big spread of attacks. Though they don't have any repeat cards. They've only got 2 move out of 8. And we discussed this at the end of the scenario when we were wondering why the ones out the back weren't moving. They've got potentially really big range as well. They've got 3 wind generators, one of them requiring ice. So maybe if there are harrowers in that last room as well, that they would have more opportunities for wind. And they have 3 different ways of applying chill, I believe. One of them being a trap. The issue with them is they played their attack everything within range 3 targeting figures with chill twice in the first round. And as a scenario effect, we all started with chill, but none of us did because we ignored that except for Phil. But then because they weren't moving, they weren't in range to actually get that attack off, which meant it meant nothing. So that's 2 rounds of it. Round 3, they played the retaliate, which comes with an attack, but there was no wind up. So they did nothing for the 3rd round in a row. And then by the 4th one, they played their heal, chill 1, but then Phil killed the elite and there was only one left who chilled you. That was that was them done for the first room. Right? The last room, they started off basically attack, heal, attack all with chill, attack all within range 2 to chill, pull 1 target. There were 5 turns of no movement. So they were irrelevant. And then the 6th one, they finally moved, but that's when you moved into range.
Yeah, so interestingly with them, right? Like looking at their reset cards, both of their reset cards are attack without movement. So in a case where, and this is what happened, and I mean, I'm trying to think of like other general scenarios where you have a room that's open and a monster on the board. But if you have a decent sized room and a monster is put in there and it's a ranged monster, if it doesn't have a move, there's a chance outside of like deep terrors and the cannons, the ancient artillery that have like range 6 or whatever, there's a good chance you can just outrange them. right? Like, bandits or like Enox archers or Algox archers and all those different types of like range kind of mobile. They usually have movement and a decent range, like 3 or 4, but they also have a move like 1 or 2. So they're mostly around range 5 or 6,
Mm,
right? But even if they're not in range, they still close the range so the next round they're going to hit you.
yes.
The problem with this is that they kept resetting, which means that every time they reset, they've got to now like, well, I mean, what you said, they've got one. I'm looking at two move cards. Every time it was like a 2 in 8 chance of actually being able to move closer, so that they could be in range the next time.
Yes.
So I feel like these are better in a small room you're forced to be in, where they are being able to make use of the hitting everyone things or chilling everyone's,
Yep.
not these are like artillery pieces at the back of a room, because there's a really good chance that they're just going to sit there and not do anything.
Yeah. Well, if you've got you open the door, like I'm picturing Frosthaven right now. If you open the door and at the back there's an Inox there fighting them, you need to keep him alive. He's got 20 health. You're going back there, and all of a sudden these are becoming a problem. There was just no reason to go in
Yeah.
until we were ready.
Yeah, I feel like, it's interesting, right? Like, if this was a Frosthaven scenario, I feel like when you open the door, like similar to, there's something there that is a priority target you need to get in so that you're in range of these things, or something along the lines of like, once you open the door, every turn this thing pulses and gives everyone chill, right? At the start of the turn, everyone gets chill 1.
Hmm.
That's it. Just purely just chill 1. All characters. And that way you go, oh shit, we've got to deal with this, right? We can't just do exactly what we did and just stood there for 8 rounds fighting these corpses that also weren't attacking. I think it's that kind of that combination. There was no urgency for us to go deal with these things. There was no urgency for us to go anywhere near these things, right? Um, but then on top of that, the threat that we were currently surrounded with also wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And so eventually it just got to the point where I'm like, well, I'm going to start baning stuff, so I may as well go bane those 2 guys over there, and I have full HP and heaps of defenses. Like, they're not going to kill me,
No.
right? And at the worst, they're going to disarm me, which I don't care about because I'm not attacking.
Yeah.
So it's, that's a bit of a unique situation. But yeah, either way, they just seemed really like kind of muted when it came as an offensive kind of monster.
Completely. I think that, in all honesty, if they had in the first round or even the second round or even the third or fourth, if they had just moved forward, they were then in range to start pressuring us and making the doorway really scary, it would completely change that last room.
I think so, because I mean, looking at their move, when what do we have? Were they level 3 or 4?
4.
4, yeah. So level 4, what they would have, I can't read this thing. What, move 4?
Oh, I don't have that up at the moment.
Yeah, I think I've got that little card thing here, because I think they'd have around move 3 or 4, right? 4 or 5 even. So yeah, definitely, if they pulled their move card or either one of their 2 move cards, yeah, they totally would have been like up against the door and then just attacking. But even then, though, I still don't feel like they're that much of a threat. Like, they're attacking, but like, yeah. Anyway, that's
It's not that we're not gonna win the scenario or anything, but it gives us a lot more things to think about, because there were so many rounds that if they weren't attacking, and the next mod that we're going to talk about, the cadavers, if they weren't attacking, we were kind of like, oh, what are we, and this is going back to the chill discussion. I think it's a cool design that can be very problematic if it's abused, like in the wrong way, because if we're getting chill and, oh crap, we have to get to the back of the room to, stop this. The chill as a whole, I think neutering the attack is fine. It's the movement part that I think is a bit hard, because all of a sudden, you already say movement's one of the least enjoyable parts of the game, and this is making that worse for every stack of chill you have. If everyone's getting chill and you can't get into the room to stop the thing that's giving you chill, it's wouldn't be fun as a challenge.
yeah, that's fair.
All right, the cadavers. Cadavers, big mid shields. I don't mind them from the way that they are, the big, healthy, hit hard kind of things, but they only have 4 attacks, right? They only have 4. They've got 2 element creators. They've got 2 ways of applying chill, one of them being an attack. They've got a heal when ice is up, and they've got 6 move cards. So theoretically, they should always be up in your face doing stuff, and a lot of the times they were. But having only 4 attack cards means that, yeah, they're not always going to be doing something. And out of the whole scenario, they activated 12 times. Only 4 of them were actual attacks. All right. So of the
Yeah.
last 7 activations from the cadavers, 1 was a move attack. So
Mm.
it was just a mixture of push pull. The stun push, uh, chill adjacent people. If someone's a chill next to someone, they take a damage. That was it. Like it was just
Yeah.
so pointless.
Remember we had a look afterwards and having a look at it again now. Like I think one of the issues that they had was that their reset card is not an attack.
Mm,
So I don't think and I'm trying to think back to the other scenario we did with them as well, the other two scenarios. I don't think their ability to get in the way is an issue at all. Like they were always up in your face, right? But both of their cards not being attacks, again, it falls into the same problem that the Wind Demons have, is that they pull that and now they have a 50-50 chance of attacking you. So it's not even like that they will chip away at their deck until they've got a good chance of doing attacks. And then they might draw one of those, but then that resets and you go back to 50-50. It's like, yeah, there's a good chance it stays 50-50, right? Because 2 of those cards, like they're pulling out of the 8 cards, 4 of them are attacks.
yep.
2 of them are not attacks, but 2 of those cards are going to reset them back to being, 50-50. So it kind of was this case where it was just cycling through the same thing. And then even those cards they had, right, just put chill on you.
Mm,
Which again is fine, and I think it's good because then it enables some of the other things. But when the other monsters aren't there to take use of it, yeah, it's this weird combination where I think there's maybe too many attempted synergies between the needing to have chill, giving chill,
mm,
the elements like the ice and the wind, which they all do. It just doesn't kind of, if it doesn't line up, it just feels really like kind of like that was useless. And I almost wonder if it does line up, if it's just become really, really hard. Like I wonder if it's an extreme. The average
that's
is just, I don't know,
totally,
nothing. Yeah. So
totally.
if it lines up, you're probably going to be in this case where you're like, this is real, real tough.
The other thing would be that second room. Also, the frozen cadavers were towards the back of the room, and the harrow was at the front. So we blew up the harrowers. They came right up to
Mm.
us. You assimilated one, ICC one. While you assimilate, it seems to be a nice little combo we've got going. Phil just has to draw a couple of amDs and crit one, and next minute, they're not there. But with all the things that the frozen corpses, the frozen cadavers were doing, if the harrowers were further back, at that I think would be a slightly different situation as well, because we've got these meat shields in front of us with the potential of hitting really, really hard and applying chill. We would have to then pivot and have someone jump into the back and do all of that. I just think it would be, grosser.
I think so. I think having having something like the wind demons or the hail demons, sorry, are there as a bit of a range support, but like even having a similar room to the first room, but in the second room, potentially would have made it a lot harder. So you have right, there's a couple of corpses at the front to get in your way. You have some harrowers that are going to move up and do some range attacks, but then maybe have 1 or 2 hail demons as well, just sitting there. Like I think that overall would make it harder. It would get congested, which also makes it harder. It means that he will have to then break off by going over everything.
Mm,
And if you go over everything, well, suddenly now you're in range of everything. So it kind of does create this situation where it's like to get clear, you have to put yourself in dangerous positions, which yeah becomes trickier, but it means it's more interesting.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I'd be curious on other people's experiences with this scenario and whether or not people are like, yeah, we watched your playthrough and they were unlucky with the ordering of what they drew, and
yeah.
how swingy is it? Because I haven't felt this way about a scenario in a long time, where it just felt like I could almost see what they were trying to do. It's like that when people select their heroes in a MOBA or something, and you can see the synergy of, oh god, and then they just absolutely mess it up, and they get all the orderings wrong, and they're stunning the wrong targets and blowing everything incorrectly, and you're like, oh, I can see what you're trying to do, but yeah, it didn't happen.
Which is funny because I've just randomly clicked on the Flaming Drakes, right? Which were some of the new ones. Yeah, they were the new fire version of Drakes
Yes.
that we bought. Yeah. And I just had a really quick look without going through all of their cards, but they have 6 of their 8 cards are attacks. and the other two, one of them is a move and disarm, and the other one is a shield and heal, right? So like they are just really offensive. And I get it. They're different types of monsters supposed to fulfill different roles. But I just feel like none of the ice ones were the I'm the offensive one. They're like one was the defensive one was the chilly utility one, and the offensive one was maybe the hail demons, but they
Oh,
were
it was
just two.
100% the Hail Dunes.
But no, but they even the cards didn't even like they didn't even look scary with the attacks they were doing. I think the thing with the hail demons that made the most scary was that the elites had disarm.
Hmm.
Which again, I negated by just making sure I took the hits because I didn't really care about it. But I mean, you're not going to have that luxury all the time of having someone that's just like, "Oh, I don't attack." So
I think what makes them scary so much is the AoE potential that they have because they have so many hitting everything within range 2 or range 3. The only problem is it's requiring chill. So they reset cards. Other than that, if everyone has a situation where the cadavers have placed chill on everyone, that's a lot of damage.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if everybody has chill, then yeah, the hail demon's attack that targets everyone with chill is quite good. But I mean, yeah, I suppose that's it's not really like it's a 1 in 8, right? Like,
Yeah.
so going back to it again, this is why I think the last scenario we did the previous week that had those rooms that had the chill in them. I think that's why that made that more interesting as a scenario, even though it had the same monster types,
Mm.
because it was forcing the condition on you so that the monsters had the ability to make use of it, right? It's kind of like we find the same thing with random scenarios through Frosthaven with elements. You have monsters in there that really want to use an element, and then you go, "Oh, I'm going to make fire up all the time." Now, fire demons, flame demons, they're actually quite scarier because they have this resource that is a sometimes do, sometimes don't. You can't do anything about it. So, I feel like that's like it obviously makes them better by
Mm.
having chill permanently on, essentially. But I think that just also makes them more interesting because you've gone through and looked at the cards. I reckon at least 50% of the time, if not more, out of these three chill scenarios. Well, actually the first two. The first one we did in this one, we just ignored most of the text on the card,
Yeah.
right? Because we didn't have chill.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're right. It's so difficult. It's so difficult to really place how I feel about this. It's almost like you would have to split thoughts around the actual design of the scenario and then our session as two separate things. Because I
Yeah.
think the scenario is actually kind of cool. It's almost like it's worth playing again. Not that we would, but it's almost like playing again to see, wait, was that just an anomaly or whatever? Because, I mean, yeah, it just,
Well, I don't know the monster cards well enough to know this for certain, but I feel like if you changed them to normal versions of those monsters and had harrowers like living corpses and wind demons, it would be harder,
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
right? And then you could still have the orbs do a chill effect because that's just generally annoying, and doing damage. But those monster types would just be more, I don't know,
There's less restrictions on what they
yeah,
can do.
they're just doing their thing, right? Because I
Correct.
don't think either of those three really rely on anything to do what they want to do. Obviously, they get buffed by like wind demons get buffed by wind. But yeah, it's an interesting thing.
No, I love it. Okay, cool. So now we're going to repeat it as it is, and now we're going to repeat it again after that, replacing all the monsters or
Yeah.
replacing one section of monsters. No, no, no. We have to do all of them. That wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, okay. Thanks, guys.
I guess this falls into that same place that our experience with scenario 22, I think it is
I
it
knew
the
you were going
boat
to bring
one?
that up as well. Yeah.
Yeah, like for those that aren't aware, when we did that in Frosthaven, we got really, really bad RNG where the wave throwers basically summoned water and the eel. I think for like the first 8 turns or something dumb like that. Like it was really, really bad, right? And then we proceeded just to get absolutely wrecked. And we hated that. Like there was such a miserable experience, not just from the admin, but also from the fact that this is a scenario for those that aren't aware that your lose objective basically is X amount of water tiles being placed on the map. And you had these four, maybe more wave throwers where they had a 2 and 8, I think it is. Because I think it's their both reset cards that's the summon,
I
but
think so.
whatever it was, chance to basically summon a piece of water and then put an eel on it. So we did that and we got absolutely wrecked by RNG and it was gross. Like it was such a shit scenario to do. It was like just annoying and bad because there was water everywhere, heaps of admin. It was just felt like we were never going to get there and we failed. And then we did it again and almost the opposite happened where they summoned like once in the whole scenario, once or twice. And so we had these two polar opposite experiences, which was just crazy.
Mm.
And I was like, I mean, the second one felt a lot better because it was heaps easier, right? But at the same point, knowing that what they were probably supposed to do, I'm like, I feel like we didn't get the experience of it,
Yeah, okay.
right? If we had got that second run as our first experience, it would have just been forgotten as a scenario. It's like, I remember that time I had to go on a boat. Not really. Like
Yeah, I
that
see what
would
you
have been
mean.
it.
Yeah.
So it's really weird when it comes to these monsters that can have these really like spiky RNG things because you're right. It's not. I don't want to say it's a design thing, but you're right. It's an experience thing. It's like you get that, your experience bad. You get that, your experience good. And then in the middle, you probably don't notice.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that we haven't actually experienced either case of that for a long time. Like we haven't had
I
to
don't.
have this chat, right? And for ages, because we haven't had
Yeah.
the bullshit RNG come out where it's like they shouldn't be able to do that, but they did, or this is a 1 in 99 chance, and they pulled it off, and we got wrecked by it. It feels like forever. I mean, we've had scenarios that we've been wrecked and we've had to restart, but we kind of knew what the problem was, or we knew it was something that wasn't. It was more under our control. Whereas in these RNG situations where you're basing everything purely off what the monsters are going to flip is so far and few between.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm just having a quick look at the Gloomhaven monsters and like cultists, for example. I'm thinking about things that you can bad RNG summon. So cultists, right? Summon a living bones with both their reset cards, but they also take 2 damage when they do it.
Mm.
So
It's like oozes.
even going with an unlimited, just constantly drawing that card, and eventually they're going to kill themselves, right? Or they get themselves into a threshold where you say, I can snipe one, right? They're at 2 to 4 health, and you go like, I can kill that guy, right? And then we don't get any more of those. Oozes are the other ones that can get really bad, but again, they suffer those damage. So that can get out of control pretty quickly if there's too many of them. But they kind of have safeguards in there from that happening. Whereas that with the wave throwers, and I mean, it was particularly annoying because that was part of our lose condition as well. But them constantly drawing that thing, there was no negative for them. That was only making
The
them more
loose
powerful.
condition that would have been for the below part in scenario 22, not the top part.
Oh, okay, all right. So it was just getting in the way then.
Yes, it was
Yeah, okay.
basically it was like slowing us down
Yeah,
to because we had to have enough cards to then go underneath and deal with the more shit on the board, the more cards we
yeah,
had to use.
yeah, yeah. And then when they did it on the underneath though, then it
Yeah.
counted towards our condition. Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I think for the most part, Haven as a whole does really well with it.
Mm.
Like we applaud the synergy that some of the monsters show between each other at random times with just like almost like it's scripted, you
Yeah.
know? Monster has a 1 in 8 chance of drawing the card that goes before anyone else is going to immobilize us. So there's 100% chance it's going to draw it.
Yes.
Like, or even seeing some of the orderings where it's like monster goes first, creates an element, a monster goes afterwards, uses that element, and that just books us hard, right? Like
Hmm.
things like that are really cool, and I can kind of like that's where you go, yeah, it's working really well. So yeah, it definitely works more often than it doesn't.
Yep. We'll move on to Ormi. He
Um,
he went AFK because he's bored.
yeah, probably. I think he's fine because nothing attacked us.
No, I think he's
Last thing on the
fine.
scenario, do you
Yeah.
think that it would have been better if the pillars had an aura effect rather than a non-attack effect?
So if you're attacking them from a certain range, you get chill.
No, more just if you're standing next to them. Like if you're standing next to it, you get chilled. If you're standing next to the flame ones, you take a damage.
No, not really. I don't know if that would have made. Yeah. No, I don't think so.
That's fair.
I think if they had more health, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like if they had more health, we'd just spend more time just PvEing a pillar, right? Like,
Totally, but it would mean that if you've got, let's say, a kelp or something that can do lots of mini attacks, each time stacking up the chill, that would make all of a sudden you needing to plan around big hits and not necessarily throwing them into monsters. throwing
Yeah,
them
so
into, maybe it would change the priority there.
that's true.
All right,
Yeah,
let's go
interesting.
jump into diaries. We leveled up. I don't want to talk about my level up cards. What I do want to talk about is my new milestone card, which is amazing. Very, very excited. This was uplifting ascension, and basically it's a heal. And then once I heal someone, it's a heal 3, range 3. Once I heal someone, I can put a token on them, and they can now levitate, giving them
Right.
flying, which is just so cool. It's just it's I think one of the most exciting cards that I have seen for any character ever. Just at it's a meme, and I'm looking forward to seeing how much fun I can have with it. And I'm also very curious as to whether or not I can just choose to remove it whenever and the person stops flying, especially if they're in a really uncomfortable position.
I think you 100% can. I don't know if there's anything there to stop you doing that. You can withdraw it on your turn at any stage, right?
That's all right. Look, there's a chance that they can suffer damage as well. And if they suffer damage, then they lose it as well. But I can make myself fly, which it just, so excited. And the bottom of it allows me to make either myself or something within range 1 invis, which again I don't even know what I want to use it for, the top or the bottom, right? It's like, bloody hell. I just want to cut the card in half.
There's 100%. It's one of those cards. There's an interesting thing as well where you could make, you could really troll people with this. And when
Mm,
I say people, I mean Mark.
yeah.
In the turns when he plays that, oh no, it won't work because he just redirects the damage. It doesn't become the focus of. I was saying because you can make his gorilla invisible, right? So he's riding around an invisible gorilla, and then things will attack him. But I was thinking if you could make him invisible, then he wouldn't be able to stop them from attacking his gorilla. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely you could do it. You can make his gorilla invisible, and you go, "Hey, I'm saving your gorilla,"
That's
and
so
then
funny. They
Mark can
just
take all the hits.
see this thing in the mounted position, just going
Yeah,
through the air.
yeah, yeah.
The gorilla's not loading. But yeah, that's the only major thing. I'm still having fun with it. It's much easier to get like prayers out at the moment, and been having a lot of fun with that. The defensives are pretty nuts, especially the Oak's Embrace ward, which I couldn't even trigger in the last scenario because nothing was getting hit and nothing was a good sponge target. No one was sponge worthy.
No.
But yeah, let's talk about your new card, the one that
Yes.
I
So I
100% you're taking.
Yeah, exactly. I hit level 7 and had the option from two cards. One of them, Lacerating Horde. I'm never going to read out because I'm not taking it.
No.
The second one is Stalk the Prey, which we finally see the Death Shroud Spider. Now, for those that haven't been following, the annoyance of all of this is the character card for this character, the Beetle. On it talks about colony tokens, and the 4 types of colony tokens are Fire Spitter Ants, Rock Spine Termites, Ghost Shimmer Bees, and Death Shroud Spiders. Right, so it kind of gives you an outline as to what the cards are going to be. When you start, you have these colony cards that can summon these little colonies that go on the map, and they are related to those colony types. And when you start at level 1, you have options between the Fire Spitter Ants, the Ghost Shimmer Bees, or the Rock Spider Termites, or the... No, that's it. And then we hit level 2, no spiders. Level 3, no spiders. I'll fast forward. Level 7, oh, spiders, finally, right? Like... Why? Why even put them on the mat on the mat thing? I mean, I guess like you have to, but that's just like I don't know. Anyway, finally we've got some spiders, and I've just kind of been. If it was, yeah, I just really, really wanted to get to them. So interesting card. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to put the colony down because I'm just going to summon the spider. So the top of the card. Play a Death Shroud Spider Colony within range 4, which is good because normally they're within range 2, so you can kind of throw it further away.
Mm-hmm.
Each time an enemy enters a hex adjacent to at least one of those, that enemy suffers 1 damage. So that's pretty cool. The bottom, though, which is very, very exciting, is summon 2 Venator Tarantulas. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but you can read the card yourself if you want. The idea is I'm getting 2 spiders out. Now, the spiders have 2 health. They only attack for 1 and they move 3. But, wait, are they range 3?
So I was waiting for this. So when I was adding the cards onto your Beetle folder on my computer so that I can use them for editing purposes, I saw exactly what you're looking at. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Was Gaz just making shit up and is saying that he can take the damage? Right?
Hey, yeah, where's that thing?
Yeah, exactly. So apparently they got reworked into the car that you currently have in person. Because, and
Okay.
as I was looking it up, someone mentioned. So yeah, what you're seeing right now is attack 1, range 3, poison, immobilize. 2 XP, permanent persistent, goes into your lost pile when they die. Right? The version you have does not have range. It's just attack 1. And then whenever these summons would suffer damage, you may suffer that damage instead. Right?
Yeah.
Which is probably then that's the only version you've seen. So you got
Yeah.
very excited by that. You got these 2 pets that are basically going to be invincible because you are never going to let them die unless you choose to.
Yep.
Right? So someone I was looking at it. Someone said that the did Stalk the Prey change? Was it too broken? And they were like, yeah, too broken. So now they've made it the version that you have, which
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like reading this card now, I didn't even notice yet that the text wasn't on it about not taking the damage for them. I'm like, range 3, immobilize and poison. That is busted as.
yep.
Like that's insane.
Yeah, so unfortunately, you don't get that version of the spider. I mean, Rage 3 is nuts on a pet. And the fact that they can apply the conditions as well.
Yeah, I'm like
And you get 2 of them.
two, like two of them, and immobilize and poison. So like, yeah, okay, cool. Well, I'm a little bit disappointed now that I don't get
I
OP
didn't want
range
you to
spider
know,
pets.
but because you're
Yeah,
looking at the card online, I was like, oh no, he's not going to know.
yeah. So mine, I believe, two HP, move 3. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
still.
Yeah.
Yep. Attack 1, immobilize and poison. No range.
No.
But when they take damage, I can choose to take damage for them instead. So it'll be interesting with that because I can't use my defensives. Like I've got a thing that gives me 2 charges of ward, but that's only when I'm attacked, not just taking damage.
Yeah.
So I can't use it to trigger that. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation where I'm not going to want to be letting them get hit for 3 or 4 and just taking 3 or 4 damage in big chunks because. Um, so yeah, I'm less excited about it. In regards
What?
to no, like I'm excited to give it a go, but I'm less excited about like it being really good because they're only attacking for 1, right? And I don't have the ability to maneuver them properly because they're just pets. They're gonna do their own thing.
True, but your AMD is getting quite juicy now.
Yeah, no, totally it is. But like they're gonna get hit for lots.
Not
Like I've
necessarily.
got why would they not get hit for lots?
Because I don't know.
And that's what I mean. I have no way of reducing the damage for them. Like for
Oh, Teddy
me, I
Blong.
kind of have this way of going up and down with it all. Because I've got my defensive cards and I've got my defensive items and blah blah blah. So yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see because they're probably always going to die in one hit because they've only got 2 health.
All right, I'll tell you what.
Um,
Well, house rule. You can't get the old spiders, but I'll give you range 1 on these ones.
Thanks, Daddy. So now they attack with disadvantage. Yeah, good. You're the worst at buffs. Yeah. So no. So keen to give them a go. I am a little bit annoyed though, right? That the colony is on the same card as the summon. Like it's cool. A bottom summon is cool because it means that I can both play another colony card and also the summon the spiders in the same turn if I wanted to, right? So that's kind of cool. Or even do a top action and summon the spiders in the same go. But like, it would be cool to be able to play around with the spider colony. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'd be interested whether an RNA wouldn't work. I was going to say there was that item, that Frosthaven item that let you play it for the top and the bottom, but I don't know if that works for double persistence or something like that.
Yeah. The other thing as well is having some way of controlling them would be cool.
Mm.
Because again, it's kind of seems like when they were ranged, it didn't matter because they were ranged. They're range 3, which, as you said, is massive, and they're probably staying at the back, just like slowly moving along. Being like melee and still having the same health means that they're probably the case of they're going forward, right? They're moving 3 like way quicker than I am. I'm not moving 3 every turn, so
Look, give me 1 second.
mm,
You can say stuff.
Well, I mean, you can use them for. I mean, I think I suggested this that I can use them to get crits, right? So I put my crit bees down, and then I put these down next to it, and the start of my next turn, we're
What
going to
is
get
a
lots of crits.
summoned ally? Is a
What
summoned
is a summoned
ally
out?
your summon or just a summoned? I
I
imagine
think
it's a summoned.
yeah.
So Mark can use Sucker Punch, where each time a summoned ally would suffer damage this round, you may suffer the damage instead.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Maybe it is only yours. A summoned ally.
Well, technically the spiders are a summoned ally. They're not a
Yeah,
standard
they
ally, they're a summoned ally.
yeah they are. I wonder. I feel like the reason I'd be questioning that is I don't think it's supposed to work like that, right? I feel like maybe a summoned ally is an ally you have summoned, and when it's someone else's turn, that just becomes a figure.
Yeah, but he's a chieftain. And the tarantula is a monster, a creature.
That's
Like,
true. He is a
in
chieftain.
nature.
Yeah. That's it. Well, maybe we can look up the errata and see if someone else has already asked this question.
Yeah, okay.
So, but yeah, anyway, so yeah, kind of really excited to play around with the spider cards. Probably going to retire soon.
Yeah, you're probably gonna want to retire.
Oh, am I
Only
frozen?
only because you look like really over it now.
What? Or look really over it? Did I
Yeah.
freeze?
No, why?
Oh, on my screen, I definitely froze.
Oh, no, you're
Oh.
fine.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm not over it at all. I'm enjoying it, and I would like to keep playing it because I want to see what level 8 and 9 are. But that'll probably take like another 5 or 6 scenarios, and I don't want to play that long. So,
No.
um,
Oh, very, very quickly. I found the other PQs to unlock our characters that we
mhm.
didn't end up picking, if that makes sense. So the one to unlock Beetle and the one to unlock Leaf. Do you want to
Yeah,
know the conditions?
I think we looked at them already, didn't we?
Then what are they?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Spend 200 gold on enhancements to unlock Leaf? No.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God I didn't get that one. But I mean, that's based around all the, church daddy and the looting and all that kind of stuff. And the Beetle one was experience 8 scenarios where you negate damage by losing a card as normal while adjacent to an ally. Then you unlock a scenario and complete it to its completion.
Experience 8 scenarios where you lose a card to negate damage while standing next to an ally.
Yep.
And it's a Thursday, and you had KFC for dinner, and your name ends in a Y. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I feel like that's where we're getting right. Like I don't mind that. Like that's interesting enough, and it's completely within your control, so that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do Kelega's quiz. Very excited.
Oh
This is
yeah. I forgot about this quiz. Yeah, I thought I was getting ready to wind up. All right, let's go.
no. Daddy versus Gaz. I'm gonna hit the play button over here. All right. I think we're good. Actual quiz. Warning. Oh, not warning. All right. So it's got to do some cool loading thing.
Is this like an app, right? Have you subscribed to it?
Yeah, it's kind of some. Well, I don't really know how to describe it.
Okay, cool.
But you can check out the link later, actually, and you can see what I'm looking at. All right. We have question 1. Currently, Gaz is sitting on 0, and Daddy is sitting on 0. All right. Question 1.
Thanks for clarifying.
Which elite archer?
Wait, stop.
Yeah.
How are we answering this? Is this for me
Sorry,
or
I
for
forgot.
you?
I forgot. There's a thing at the start. Let's see.
Okay, Phil.
Quiz details. All right. So what Kelega's done? He's collected the level 5 non-boss monster stats. So health, move, attack, range, shield, retaliate, and any innate conditions that they apply to their attacks. This is also a Gloomhaven quiz. Arbitrarily chose level 5 because didn't want to go through all the levels. Collected all the
That's fair.
monster ability cards initiative and classified them as followed. So initiative value, whether they have an attack, whether they have a move, whether they have a heal, whether they summon, how much retaliate they add, how much shield they add, what negative conditions they apply to you. Not if they apply any. Last quiz I just had if they applied any at all. If the ability adds a ranged attack to a monster that doesn't have base ranged attacks, and then assume that elements are always available.
Okay. Cool.
As a frame of reference, for some of the questions, there are 34 different monsters. and there's a list here which I won't read out, just to refresh in your mind. But yeah, it's ancient
Cool.
artillery and black imps and pretty much everything that we've seen in the past.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
So are we both answering each question, or are
Yeah,
we
we're
alternating?
both verbally going to give out our answers, and then I'm going to reveal the answer, and there's a spot for me to put in what you picked and what I picked.
Oh, okay. This is
Yeah.
very fancy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's go.
So, question 1. Which elite archer... I saw you typing before. Did you go to the Frosthaven cards thing to
No, I typed in Deddy and Gaz so I can keep track of the scores,
Oh,
because
okay.
usually we get halfway through and we're like, what are we on? We're like, I don't know.
Yeah, so my hands are in my pockets. Which elite archer, bandit, city, or inox has the highest attack value? So I'm assuming that's on the stat.
Bandit, City, or... All right. Well, I'm going to say Bandit.
Oh, I was going to do that.
You still can. But
I don't think it's
second.
city, but I don't... Inox... The inox one's a bit confusing. Oh, that's right. Inox are terrible. Algox are the good ones. Yeah, okay. So it's bandit. All right, let's show answer. Answer, city archer. Oh, damn it. Guys, I'm dead wrong. Okay. I thought I'd already worked this out ages ago when we did a scenario, and I was comparing the archers from, might have been the Vermlings and all of that. Oh, it might have been the Vermlings. All right. Question 2, I don't know how many questions there are. Which elite guard, bandit, city, inox has the highest shield value?
I'm going to say City.
Care to show you working out?
Because the last answer was City.
I feel, to be honest, it would really help if we actually had inox in our Crimson Scales campaigns to actually
Yeah, we
see a
fought them like
refresher.
twice. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, we've barely run into any of these 3 lately.
Yeah.
Where are the
Look,
bandits?
in defense of our defense, I don't think if we fought them often we would have any idea. I don't think it improves our chance of getting this correct. But
Well-
you're right. We haven't seen them
Well,
much.
the bandits running around with 1, I'm probably not going to choose that. Okay. I'm going to go with bandit.
Yeah.
If lucky good old bandit is going to get the point sooner or later. All right. So your city locked in?
Mm-hmm.
All right. City guard with 3
Yeah.
shield. Bandit has 2 and Inox has 0. Damn it. Gaz right, Dirty wrong. Yeah, okay. I'm just letting you get a little head start. All right. Question
Thanks, I
3 has
appreciate
2 parts.
Ooh.
Part 1. Which monster has the fastest move value?
What's the fastest move value mean?
I dare say oh no, I want to say movement, but you're thinking initiative now, right? But that wouldn't make...
fastest.
Yeah.
So as in which is the highest move value, which moved the furthest?
Isn't that the same thing?
Well, fastest and furthest are not the same thing. No.
But how do you define fastest?
Quickly.
So you're saying maybe the fastest, like the lowest initiative move card.
Yeah. Yeah, the lowest initiative move card or just the furthest move.
Wind Demon.
Well, which one are we answering?
Well, it just says which monster has the fastest move value.
Okay. Well, how are you? Let's both answer it in the same way. So are you saying which has like the longest move or which has the lowest initiative card with a movement on it?
Well, I think that if it says, I love how people can hear our working out right now.
Yeah, that's it.
I think the answer would be, okay, well, the follow-up question, actually, this probably helps because I'm now reading the follow-up. What is the value of its move? Okay. So you pick the monster and then the value of its move.
And did we decide? See, now you understand, everybody, why we can't read cards, because this is what happens. So, okay, I'm gonna say what's really quick? The Hound Wolf things are pretty quick. I'm gonna go with the Hound Wolf thing.
Yeah, I'll go Wind Demon.
Mm-hmm. And now we have to say what that movement is.
Well, let me just work out what the answer is.
Okay.
So, I wonder if I haven't shown it yet. Do we pick both answers in the same go? I mean, I can reveal them one by one. So maybe we'll split it up. So we'll do a part
Okay.
one. Which one has the fastest move value? So you're saying Hound?
Yeah, wolf,
I say
dog, bear
Wind
man.
Demon. Okay, Rending Drake.
Good. Yep.
Okay, cool. So now we can use that information to work out what the value of its move is. I'm gonna go
I'm gonna say 1.
6. What? Oh, okay. Oh, because the
What's
fastest one
that?
won't be that low. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh,
No, it could be. I don't know. I still don't even know what the question is, let alone how I'm answering it. So I'm just assuming that they go really. Yeah, I'm gonna pick 1.
yeah.
And you're
Okay.
gonna pick 6, and we'll figure out if it's really high. Then I was probably very wrong.
If it's really low, then I'm really wrong.
Yeah, that's it.
6. Oh my god.
There you go. So it
Oh
probably.
shit.
So I
Okay.
wonder if it was which creature has the furthest move. Like which creature has a card that has the highest amount of movement on it.
Do you want to? Shall I check?
Nah, let's just keep going.
But
Let's just live
that
in
will
the
help for our
mystery.
understanding.
As in check the
Just
monsters.
check the Rending Drake,
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
just
sure.
to see whether or not we
It'd be Gloomhaven.
yeah Rending Drake. So if we put that
All
on
right. So they
here.
have a move plus 1. Oh, they're all. We're just so used to thinking level 5. I don't know how to make it. Oh, hang on, flip it around.
So by fastest, it means it probably moves on a 12 initiative. Is that what we're looking at?
Maybe.
And therefore,
And
nothing
look
would move faster.
on a. Yeah, so that's weird. I don't understand that either because I feel like there's. I mean, unless that is the quickest actual move, a lot of the other lower
Well,
cards are.
that would
Uh,
make sense. I'm just going to the Wind Demon now just for a comparison. So even though it's got
mm,
low cards, its lowest movement. Although the Wind Demon has a shield move card at 2. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit confused now
yeah.
because that
So
would feel like that would be the fastest.
now we're even more confused than we were before we looked
All
things
right,
up.
that didn't clear it up.
This is why we don't check rules, people, because that just makes you more confused.
All
All right.
right, all right, all right. Question 4 has 2 parts. What is the fastest initiative a monster can go?
I'm gonna say Wind Demon on 2.
Just trying to think if there's a 1, but Chaos Demons aren't in Gloomhaven, are they? So
I don't
I'm
think
going to
so.
also say 2. 2!
Yay!
See,
And now
we're
the
actually
next
pretty good.
question is, okay, which monster is it?
Name one of the 2 monsters that have an ability card with that initiative. Wind Demon?
Wind Demon.
No, I already picked it.
What's the other one you reckon? What else goes really quick? I always think hounds do, but I don't think they go that quick. I'm gonna say Night Demon.
At a
I mean, we're
2.
gonna have to look. Pardon?
At a 2.
Yeah. Like,
You can't look it up.
oh, okay, all right.
We haven't answered yet. I mean, I haven't.
I did. I just answered Night Demon. I was
Oh,
gonna
I
say,
haven't.
like, I wasn't gonna look up the answer. I was gonna look up like all of the monsters to scan through and see, like, out of all of those, which one do I think might have a quick card? But all right, yeah. We'll just go with. I'll go with Night Demon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the other one.
All right.
Harrow and Fester.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
But we both got that one right as well. We're pretty good at this.
we are really good.
All right, question 5. What is the maximum possible retaliate value a monster can have, counting innate retaliate and retaliate added by cards? At
I'm
level
gonna say
5.
5.
Yeah, 5's looking pretty good.
I already said it. Yeah, pick a different answer.
4 plus 1.
All right, so your answer's 4.
Before I reveal this, I'm also thinking 5. Why are you thinking 5? Because we're locked in.
Because I think things like Harrowers have 3, and I reckon if they're gonna have a gain extra retaliate card, it's probably gonna be 2. Um, Although thinking about it now, I reckon flame demons might even have
That's what I'm
like,
going with.
yeah, they
But I
might
don't
even
know if
just
they've
have,
got ways of buffing it like crazy.
yeah, because that's the part that's extra. I don't know if that's a red herring in that question, right? Because I'm not sure if there are any monsters that have high retaliate that also can buff it. So I
I
know
reckon they
that
can
some of them,
buff it.
yeah. Well, you reckon flame demons can?
I think they can buff it.
Hmm.
Surely.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with 5.
Yeah, same. 6.
Damn it! I was gonna change to 6 just based on that. All right. So what's the
Because
next? Is there a part?
Inox guards
Oh,
have Retaliate 4, and they have a card that adds Retaliate 2.
wow. Inox guards have. I mean, we don't know because we don't fight them, right?
No. But yeah, they have no shield. So they've gone down the Retaliate guarding kind of thing.
Ah, okay, cool, cool. Yeah, I'm just having a look at their character card now. Yeah, at level 3 they have 3. So okay, so it keeps going up.
All
Yeah,
right, there
cool.
are 9 questions. So we're up to 6. Two-parters. How many monsters do ranged attacks by default?
All right, and so there's 34 monsters, right? That was given to us at the start.
Yes.
How many monsters? Okay, this is just
And
going to
then
be a guessing.
there's a follow-up, part 2. How many monsters can perform ranged attacks, counting ranged attacks granted by ability cards?
God, I'm going to say 17, and we'll play closest to the pin, right? Like, so I'm going to say 17 is how many have ranged attacks innate.
All right, I'll go 18.
Okay, cool. Yep, what's the answer?
14. Damn it!
Yes. All right, cool. And now, what's the next part of the question?
How many monsters can perform ranged attacks, counting ranged attacks granted by ability cards?
Okay, so this will be higher than 14 because it's including all of those plus
Yeah,
some more.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'm going to say 24.
20. Oh, 25.
25, yep.
Yeah. 23? Oh,
Yes.
I was like, do I go 23? Just not to be bang on, but to just, I'm looking at higher or lower than you, basically.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
Like, technically, these aren't right, though.
No, correct. We're both wrong. I was just less wrong than you.
Oh. Well, how do I score this then?
I guess put us both as no. We both
Oh,
suck.
okay. We're both wrong. But I gave
Yeah.
us both right last time, so it kind of,
There you go. Balances out.
yeah. Question 7. Which monster's average initiative is closest to 50?
Which monster's average? Oh, that's a tricky one.
Mm.
I'm going to say living bones.
I was going to go with a living, but not necessarily that.
Which bones? Which living? Spirit, corpse,
Is that the only two?
pineapple,
Living
living
pineapple.
pineapple. Yeah.
Oh, hound. No, hounds are really fast. What am I doing? I'll go a cave bear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
I've lost where I'm at. There I am. Sure, yes. Frost demon. Oh my! I legit was pulling a demon out of my ass. I was like, maybe a frost demon. In my head, and then I was like, nah, it's too random. Fuck.
Ah, you could have nailed it. Yeah.
I
So,
know. This is why I always go with my gut. Always go with the first thing that comes into my head.
yep.
All right. Question 8. What percentage of ability cards apply a negative condition? Counting. Curse with a question mark? Kelega, are we counting it or not? Oh, wait. That's the question. Sorry. The whole question is what percentage of ability cards apply a negative condition counting curse with a question mark?
50%. No, that's a boring answer. I'm going to say 64%.
I'll go with 42.
Yeah, I feel like it is probably going to be lower than 50, but yeah.
20.588235.3%. But you can mark correct if you said from 19 to 23.
I like how he gives us some leeway.
If you got the answer right to the decimal place, gain 1 additional point, I believe.
Game 1 morale.
Yeah. That's a lot lower than well, obviously we thought.
Yeah, totally. Like 25%. I feel like we're getting
20%.
thrown as, huh?
20%.
Closer to 20%, is it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, 20% is way lower than I thought.
Bonus option for question B. What? Accept bonus. Bonus option for question B. Do you accept the bonus? I don't
Yes.
understand. It just gives me the option of Gaz accept bonus, Gaz decline bonus.
Yes. I accept.
Only because let me just drag this out a little bit. This is doing something. Oh, gain 100 bonus points. Okay. My thing was cut off. So it was like if you gain to the percentage, gain 1, and then that's where it ends. So I didn't understand that until I had to maximize it.
Okay, so if you get the percentage right, you get 100 bonus points. Yep, that's fair.
We did not get the bonus. Question 9. For elite monsters that do ranged attacks by default, what is their average ranged stat? Man, these
4.
are some real sweaty questions. Like, we did a baby's first Gloomhaven one, which I think we'll still get mostly wrong.
Like, how many demons are there? Yes. True or false? Like, bandits are in the game.
All right. So for elite monsters that do ranged attacks by default, what is their average ranged stat?
Let's say 4.
4.
No, you have to pick a different number.
5.
All right. History
4.9. Mark correct if you said 5.
Oh, there you go. See, I pushed you, I helped you, and I supported you into the correct answer, Daddy. That's what we do.
Hell
So
yeah.
you play true support.
Okay. That's it. Quiz completed. Final actual scores, removing the bonuses. Gaz on 4, Daddy on 4.
Oh, that's boring. We both won. Yeah,
Well, we
go
both
us.
lost. No, I'm glad that, I had to pull it back towards the end. Just because, have we actually always drawn in previous ones? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Someone
I
please
don't
go
know
and
if
listen to a previous episode to find out for us. Thank you.
Someone go through and scrape the data. Yeah, thanks so much. It was a Kelega that sent that through, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Thanks for putting the time in to do all that. And yeah, if you or anyone else has any other quizzes for us, you can send them through in any format or activities for us to do. And you want to help make us look like idiots that we don't know anything about this game that we've been playing for 2 years.
We don't need quizzes for that, but yeah.
No, we don't. But if you just wanted to show it, yeah. So yeah, I appreciate it.
No, a lot of work goes into them, and I'd love to see a Ricewind Dwarf kind of duel in one of these kind of things. I think that would be great.
Oh, all right. So hear me out.
Celebrity deathmatch.
Yeah, well, we get to bring a celebrity onto our team, right?
Oh,
Right. So like, let's say, we can work that out, and we can both pick a person to come on, and we can be our
No one
ask
can pick
a friend.
Dwarf.
Why?
CGO.
Oh, I'll pick Riceman then.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Done.
that's
Done.
done.
I'll see you outside.
Well, no, I think CGO should be banned because he's a designer.
What? He designed one scenario.
Yeah, that's like an infinitely percentage increased amount of scenarios than everybody else that isn't a designer.
All right.
We'll talk about it offline.
Yeah.
But that could be fun. That could be a fun thing to do as well if we could organize it. Because we could do like the amDirt quiz master edition.
I actually like that a lot. We'll have Phil. Actually, we'll start off with Phil and Mark. We'll start off with
And then we'll work our way up.
Yeah. All right, we will wrap it up there. Thank you for joining us for another episode of amDirt. I'll be retiring you next week, guys.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Fantastic. See you all next week. I've been your host, Eddie. I've been joined again by Gaz.
And remember, when it comes to rolling terribly, it's all